feel like I'm suiting up for a case study here, man. This is something straight out of high school, straight out of a college thesis sort of thing right here. Let's talk about the newest Columbus Blue Jacket. And I can't believe I just said that sentence without completely crackling down, because yeah, that's a very interesting sentence. The newest Columbus Blue Jacket, Johnny Gaudreau. And why the heck it's so weird, why it's so off-putting, and why it's been so surprising for everybody involved that he signed with the Blue Jackets instead of one of the Flyers, or the Devils, or the Islanders, or even the Calgary Flames, wherein he played for, what was it, like 8 years, ever since 2015, something like that? So let's go over to Johnny Gaudreau and the contract signing that we had seen yesterday, because it was a pretty big deal. It kind of took over the entire hockey world when it actually happened. But Johnny Gaudreau, Johnny Hockey himself, 28 years old, 5'9", 165, as a left-handed left-wing player, signed himself a $9.5 million AAV deal with the Blue Jackets. It takes him until 2028-2029, where he will be... How old is he going to be then? Okay, 2029 to 2022 right now, 7 years, so he's going to be 35 when the contract expires. Take a look at this. The AAV is $9.75 million a season, which is a pretty good AAV for a guy who was second in the NHL in total points last year behind Connor McDavid. Now, the entire saga leading up to this free agency period was quite interesting. We had the Calgary Flames as the team that drafted this guy all the way back in, what was it, 2012? Or 2011, something like that, and that developed him into the star that he is today. But when this contract negotiation process started out, everybody kind of knew, okay, look, Calgary is going to try to move heaven and earth to make sure they keep this player. They want him here. Johnny Gaudreau is an absolute superstar. He could be the greatest Flame of all time if he decides to stick around here in Calgary. All we gotta do is give him whatever money he wants, and he'll stay. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. We saw contract negotiations reach the $10.5 million a season range, and we had a whole bunch of conversation going around saying that, yeah, no, the Flames are really just trying their luck here. They're just throwing whatever they can. We'll talk about Mateychuk later. Screw that guy. Right now we're focusing on Gaudreau, and right now we want to make sure he sticks around here. Here you go. $10.5 million a season to stick around in Calgary. How do you feel about that? But then we had some sentiments from other sources that were talking about things aside from the money. The fact that Johnny Gaudreau has a pregnant wife. The fact that Johnny Gaudreau grew up in Salem, New Jersey, which, I mean, okay, it's New Jersey, but if you take a look at a map, let's actually look at that a little bit later. But the families of Gaudreau and his wife are in the area of New Jersey, Philadelphia, and there's a growing sentiment that says that Johnny Gaudreau might just want to go home. Because of this, we had been seeing rumors of the Philadelphia Flyers for months, and the New Jersey Devils started to creep in there as well when you realize, okay, he is technically from New Jersey. However, if you take a look at a map, this is where Salem, New Jersey is on the map. It's along the border of Pennsylvania and New Jersey. It's a lot closer to Philadelphia. It's pretty much a Philadelphia suburb, comparative to being a New Jersey sort of area. Like, it's so far away from New York and the bridge and everything that it's pretty much Philadelphia where he grew up, so it makes a lot of sense to see why he's a lot more of a Flyers fanboy than he was a Devils fanboy growing up. But still, Philadelphia, you have New Jersey, New York, the Islanders were involved in this kind of conversation as well. We had all these Eastern teams floating around there as potential Johnny Gaudreau suitors, teams that could go out there and pay this guy a lot of money and give him a chance to play somewhere that he actually would be interested in playing in. Now, unfortunately for the Calgary Flames fan base, that meant that a lot of these fans had to say, okay, we gotta understand that this guy just wants to do what it is that he wants to do for his family. He wants to do this for his folks. He wants to be closer to home. So if he signs in New Jersey, if he signs in Philadelphia, if he signs in New York, okay, at least he's gonna be in the area and he's gonna have a lot more immediate access to the ones that he loves. And with that sentiment in mind, I was heading into this free agency period like, yeah, okay, I respect the hell out of that. I respect the heck out of Johnny Gaudreau for turning down what was a reported $10.5 million AAV contract for 8 years from the Calgary Flames. And Okay, you do the math on that, $80.5 million. That's a lot of money. And for a guy that's going to be making this amount of money until he's 35 years old, that's a pretty good set-for-life kind of plan right there. So, when we had learned that the Columbus Blue Jackets came here instead and signed this guy to what was a $9.75 million AAV salary that goes on for 7 years instead of 8, a lot of people, myself included, were kind of like, what the heck? I said, what was this stuff all about family? I thought his family was like right there, Philadelphia, New Jersey, and now it's Columbus. What the heck happened? Columbus is an 8-hour drive away from that area, so what do you mean he decided to go to Columbus for a $9.75 AAV salary? Here are some other tweets that were kind of going out there. The Devils did make an offer to Gaudreau. Pierre LeBrun believes it was in the 7 years range north of $9 million AAV. Mikey Stevens goes out there and says something a little bit different. The Devils offered Gaudreau north of $10 million on a 7-year deal, and he chose to go to Columbus. With Gaudreau reportedly wanting to sign close to home, what does that say about the state of the Devils franchise? So, conflicting reports, of course. Mikey here is saying that the Devils offered 10 plus million. Pierre LeBrun saying the Devils offered north of 9 million. But because it makes for a more fun commentary, let's just say the Devils did offer north of $10 million. And Gaudreau decided to go with a contract that is less and head over to Columbus instead of New Jersey. Now, there was an idea that was floating around yesterday as well from NHL Watcher that I really did like. We actually read it on the video talking about Johnny Gaudreau's initial signing yesterday too, that, hey, if Johnny Gaudreau was a Flyers fan growing up, why would he actually be okay with New Jersey and New York? I mean, those teams would have had rivalries with Philadelphia, so it's not really like he probably would have enjoyed those teams in general if he's making his decision based off his own personal preference and feelings. I mean, sure, the extra $500,000 a year, whatever, would have been nice in New Jersey, but if he just really doesn't like the Devils because he really liked the Flyers growing up, I could understand that he decides to take his talents elsewhere. It's just, Columbus, dude? This is what Eric Francis tweeted out about the situation. I can't imagine Flames fans are happy at all that Gaudreau left upwards of $15 million on the table to leave Calgary for Columbus, especially considering it's an 8-hour drive from Jersey to Columbus. We'll see what he has to say about it soon. In response to this, Adam Herman says they can do like a 2-hour flight without dealing with customs, and he'll play 5 million times in Manhattan, Long Island, Philadelphia, Washington, and North Jersey. I don't expect Flames fans to feel anything besides dejected, but this is pretty obviously so much easier for him and his family. Which makes sense. It really does. And it makes even more sense when you go over to the Philadelphia Flyers, his hometown team, and you acknowledge that at the time of me recording this audio, they have $48,000 in cap overage. They don't have any cap space. They have $0 in cap space right now, and they still need to re-sign Zach McEwen, Owen Tippett, and Morgan Frost. So the Flyers just really didn't have an opportunity to actually put their stake in this race at all, unless they went out there and, let's say, traded away D'Angelo, traded away Rasmus Ristolainen, traded away any of the other forwards that have been linked in trade rumors as well. They signed Delorier earlier yesterday, so there you go. But, like, Johnny Gaudreau probably would not have actually had an opportunity to play with his hometown Flyers anyway. New Jersey, apparently, he just wouldn't have wanted to go there. New York, maybe the same thing. And so I guess Columbus was the next best thing. I mean, the fact that it takes us this much brain power to think about it and try to analyze what actually happened and revise the situation and acknowledge, okay, there is a path for him and his family to go to Philadelphia, or Salem, New Jersey, a lot easier if he's in Columbus rather than in Calgary, but like, you still gotta remember the guy turned down what was an extra year and an extra, what is that, like $700,000 per year? Like, okay, let's do the math here. $700,000 multiplied out by 7 years, add on the extra $10.5 million he would have gotten in the 8th year had he signed in Calgary. $10.5 million. He was leaving $6 million off the table, something crazy like that. My math might be incorrect, but talk to me in the comments either way, all your thoughts about Johnny Gaudreau and this very strange contract signing. I had to make another video about it because I feel like there's a lot more than meets the eye here, so let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.